What's my name? NE1 comic book reading. I'm DoglifeChris. This is Batman number 90. Number 90. Catwoman's secret. It will tear them apart. You ain't my girlfriend no more, woman. I literally haven't even read this one. I just need to get this off my chest. Off my chest. Diamond District. This is Deathstroke. Do you copy? Is anyone left out there? Cheshire? Merlin? Gunsmith? Sorry, mister. Oh, wait. Sorry, Mr. D. They can't come to the phone right now. Want to try another number? Who the heck is this? How the heck are you in my earpiece? Well, you see, each of these bat doohickeys comes equipped with communication blockers. DC presents their Dark Design. Part 5. Pointy Ears himself said it was overkill to throw so many your way. But Harley Quinn's an overkill kind of gal. And then he says a bad word, and she said, "That's right. Bat says they're choke. They are choke full of non-lethal ammunition, but rubber bullets still welt pretty good. Particularly if you hit in the face. Who wants to bet I can shut the other eye really easily?" Mr. Wayne, you sure this is a good idea? Oh, that's Harley still. No, it's not. It's Catwoman. Miss Quinn is certainly enthusiastic, but I feel like a dangerous play. It's a temporary solution. Lucius. Oh, that's Lucius. He's talking to Lucius. If it looks like she's going to kill him, then cut her controls off. Otherwise, keep my line clear. It's beautiful. All these strange skeletons of a whole new city growing out of the old one. It's strange to think how different it's all going to look and soon feel. Selina, I need you to tell me everything. And I am sorry. I know. I'll tell you that. Oh, she's spilling the beans? She's running! She's spilling the beans. It started years ago, not quite at the beginning, but soon after. I found a card on my pillow with an ornament with a D, with a peer number and a date and time. Curiosity, I suppose it got the better of me. Back then, danger had a different connotation. Danger meant I might get a bruise that would be hard to conceal out of costume. Mostly it was just exciting. And that D, I had heard the urban legends, the legends of the mastermind criminal, a man who conceited the greatest crimes that you've never heard of. It's mostly a joke, you see. Like you talk about stealing something ludicrous and obvious, like the crown jewel in the Tower of London. And someone would say, well, he probably stole them 20 years ago, and you knew exactly who they meant. Oh, the gang's all here. I wasn't the only one who got a card. Ah, Catwoman. I see the designer fellow has exquisite taste in criminals. Don't shake the hand. Don't shake the Joker's hand. He's got something horrible in it. Say, that man with the question mark cane, huh? Oh, says the man with the question mark cane, huh? Enough rattling. Cobblepot. It wasn't until the boat came that I got scared. My word, what on earth is this? The designer has called for you. Are you prepared to become what you must become? Yes, clearly. Then step aboard the Styx. Rather melodramatic, don't you think? A dead man and a riverboat? Drop the familiar tone, Eddie. We're not friends. We should be. I appreciate an intelligent woman. I could show you a quite a good time. I'm going to throw you off this boat. What's got your knickers in a twist? I don't like that he's been invited to the table. There were real casualties last spring when he attacked that television studio. Psh. And the boatman? What the heck have we gotten ourselves into? The apt choice of words, my feline friend. Hell indeed. That's all he says. Is that the Joker laughing? Sure, the Joker. Hello, my dear guests. I welcome you to the Taurus house. He looks like a gaudy criminal. I'm your host for the evening. You may call me the designer. Please hand over all your weapons and we can begin. Some sort of deference, Joker? Oh, is that Penguin? Some sort of deference, Joker. We're in the presence of a living legend. Oh, Uzi. I thought this was going to be boring. I didn't realize you got us tickets to the circus. Oh, Ozzy? Like Oswald? Okay, Ozzy. The clown prince of crime, your reputation precedes you. That's the whole point of a reputation, isn't it? I haven't the faintest clue who you are. You will. It was a different time. It was a simpler time. She's spilling the beans. There had been darkness at the beginning. I remembered the grim, or is it grime? The grime on the streets, the power of the Falcone family and their allies, and the city sank with corruption and horror. You were never sure if you could survive the walk from the subway to your apartment. And it felt like Gotham was so broken I could never become anything else. But then, there you were. An old form of crime met a new form of crime fighter and crumbled in its face. The rules changed then, and for the moment, crime in the city had a different stakes. You didn't have to come pay off a crooked cop or give a cut to a cartel of murderers. Yeah. If a person had the skills and a colorful costume, they could rob a bank or a vault for the thrill of it. And sure, they might have to tussle with the dynamic duo. But on the good night, they might get their hands on the diamond the size of a bull's head and fleece it for millions on the black market. And they put the money back into better equipment, a better costume, better tools to outwit you. They look so beautiful together. And Bruce, you still had your intensity. You never lost it. But with a young man fighting at your side, you were trying to be a role model, someone he could look up to. You were always sure not to cross that line. You tempted yourself so that Robin might not carry the same wound you did into his adult life. And God, there are days I still miss that time more than anything. There isn't time for nostalgia, Selena. Did I say nostalgia? It's nostalgia. Nostalgia. I'm sorry. There needs to be. You need to remember what that time was like for anyone of this to make sense. I know that's hard, Bruce. I know that Alfred is gone and that you've been through so much pain, but that moment is when all of this started. That's when complexity stepped in. I almost bought The Death of Alfred Pennyworth today. There was only 3 copies left, but I didn't. I bought this instead, and like I said, I wanted to read this. Oh, here it is. Got it. Then we got some like Star Wars stuff. Star Wars. All right, back on track. I thank all of you for joining me at the Tartar's house tonight. I have been looking forward to this dinner for quite some time. I have been watching each of you and your careers with great fondness, and you have impressed me with your spirit and your style. But in watching, I have seen you lose time and time again, and that is why I have come here to offer my expertise. In my youth, I faced a young adversary much like your own, the finest detective this world has ever seen. In the beginning, I thought of him as a nuisance. I was after real, tangible assets, and he was merely the fly to my ointment. He would thwart me at every turn, and so I needed to think bigger. I would need to design a crime and deduce the way my adversary might thwart it, and how I might thwart his thwarting. Wow. From there it grew, a nesting doll of criminal plots, complicated themselves and increasingly in motive and manpower. In time, I wasn't plotting crimes for personal gain. I was simply trying to beat this dang detective in his own game. Victory eluded me at every turn, and I was driven to the brinks of madness and beyond, which is where a simple truth presented itself to change me and my life. It's the halfway point. Staples in the... yeah. Okay, what happened? I had been planning this game on the detective's terms, taking one step forward past each step he had taken to beat me. If I designed a crime with 1 degree of complexity, he would come back with 2 degrees of complexity in his means of defeating me. Beating him would require an exponential leap forward, and I spent a year in the room doing just that. I knew to win, I would need to become the man I might become after 20 years of battling him, without him evolving in kind. The man who left that room wasn't the man who entered. He was the designer. He fell, of course, humiliated and broken. I do not believe he solved another crime in his life, and ultimately he died a shadow of what the world remembered him to be. What I offer to each of you is a chance to evolve to your final forms and strip this caped crusader. The 4 of you could rule the city in an underworld united, a playground you can manipulate until you grow bored of it. I will give you the means to accomplish what you could not in your own current state, and you will give me half of what you reap when you unleash your design upon the city, and you will never see me again. Okay, that's a good plan. He said we were all at stage 1, complexity, maybe stage 2, but after that night in Tartar's house, he would help us each develop a stage 12 or a 15th design. There was a kindness in his voice. He was friendly. It was a good conversation, though it lasted for hours. He was a craftsman, and he wanted to hear about my craft. I was a thief, so I talked to him about the biggest heist I could imagine pulling off, and then he would talk me through how you would dismantle it, and how I would have to think bigger. By the end of our conversation, I was describing what would be the largest monetary heist in the history of the planet. There was a power to it. Can you imagine it, Bruce? Imagine if one day I went from stealing a large ruby from a museum to stealing the wealth of one of the largest companies on the planet with no middle step, no hint of my leap. He would never have seen it coming, and you wouldn't have been able to stop me. And I felt so powerful in that moment. It was like the money was already mine. My sword! Get out of here, little child! I love you. Penguin and Riddler were the same. They came out of their sensation with a glow on their faces as they described pieces of their crimes. Penguin described a shell game of assassinations that would end with him in the mayor's office. Riddler described a kind of technological labyrinth that would cripple the law enforcement in the city. But the Joker, he went in, and the hours kept pouring by, with the rest of us waiting, growing more and more uneasy. At the time, I didn't understand. I had no real answer, but as the years have gone by, I think I could see why. Imagine being the first one to understand what monster was going to become. Imagine going step by step from diamond magnets to Joker fish to gases, entering buildings to murdering countless of families. It must have been like staring into an abyss, Bruce. Realizing, hey, don't step on the comics. Realizing that the strange crime boss, the clown makeup, would keep going and adapting until he became something like apocalyptic. I don't know if any of that happened, but it makes sense given what happened next. Kill them all! Ooh, snap. Joker must have freaked him out. Oh my. They have our weapons. I suppose we'll have to be clever about it. The Joker has gas still. When I get my umbrella back, I'm going to cook that clown alive. What on earth did you say? He showed me what kind of city this was. I saw what it's going to become in time. He shot him in the back. Looks like I forgot one of my guns. Silly old me. Here, I'll make up for it. You can have it now. He blasts these suckers. What have you done, you treacherous clown? I told him a joke, and he didn't think it was very funny. When he tried to kill us, Then he tried to kill us. I just saved your life, Ozzy. Perhaps if we pooled our resources, it might still be possible. You know damn well those designs would not work without his financial backing. As it stands, they are dreams best forgotten. And what do we do with all of this? What is all of this? I don't see anything. I have men who can get him into Potter's Field. He deserves that much. Tartar's house can be relocated to the bottom of the Atlantic. It would be best if we allowed this myth of the designer to remain a myth. We were never called. We never met him. This day never happened. What a waste. What a horrible waste. They literally sank it to the bottom of the Atlantic. I remember the Riddler and the Penguin started the fires. Watching the Joker, he was just staring off across the water at Gotham City. And at the signal, hanging in the clouds above it, something in him changed that night. His eyes, they were different than they had ever been before. It was my first time seeing what kind of evil he was going to become.
That's evil right there.
Yeah, right. He was telling jokes. This was just about spilling the beans. There's still something you're not telling me. I know. It's the part it's just the hardest, because if the designer is alive somehow, he's getting back at all of us with our own plans, then you need to know the target of the heist I planned. I already know, Selena. It's me. My family's money. It's Wayne Enterprise. It's the mayor. The manor. Billions of dollars. If the designer still has your plans, I'm about to lose everything. The end. Next, The Cost, issue number 91. That was Batman, DC Universe, issue 90. DoglifeChris here. NE1 comic book reading. We're signing off on a Wednesday. Have yourself a great life. We out this sucker.